we have come to our most awaited episode with Dr. Aman. I'm so happy to be live with him, and yes, on heavy demand, we should say, Aman is back. Hi, Aman, how are you?
Hi Pinky, how are you? Pleasure to be back.
I'm Yes, and yes, people have asked me, please get Dr. Aman back. We want him on panel. I said, okay. On popular demand, you are back. I have got a lot of questions in line for you.
ऐसे मैंने क्या बोल दिया यार पिंकी?
No, but I know a lot about you, right? For me, TA was like life changing.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, please introduce yourself and your journey. We would love to know your journey a bit.
I think my journey is still ongoing here. I'm wearing a pink shirt today to commemorate our friendship because everyone calls you Pinky for some damn reason because you're always pink and flushed. So yeah, I am Surinder's professor. I teach a subject called Applied Transactional Analysis at the Heart Counselling Centre, Mumbai. I'm a trainer in that subject. I'm also a private consultant for psychotherapy and counseling. I mostly work with the youth, young couples, senior citizens as well. I've been doing this for many years, but prior to that, I was an advertising professional. I primarily worked in the media industry in Singapore. I worked in the promotions teams of some very prestigious TV networks such as Discovery Channel, Sony Pictures Television, Viacom for a short while. Prior to that, I was in India working with Star TV, UTV. I've worked on reality shows and shot in Malaysian jungles and lived in that jungle for 6 months. I'm mostly a kid from boarding school culture. I didn't really grow up in the city. I grew up in the hills. So I was always very connected to nature and I always found myself in situations where I had to rely on my own wits. And I was quite a library whore. I was always in the library reading books, science fiction, UFOs, ghosts, zombies. That was my world. I loved to paint. I love music. So yeah, that's a little bit about my journey. I don't know if I will keep going on. नहीं तो मतलब it'll become like
Okay,
हमारे questions कब answer होंगे?
so today's precise question would be share your adolescence journey, a little bit of your story about your adolescence.
So okay. This is something funny, guys. I was really scared of girls, and a lot of people don't know this. I was like terrified of talking to girls. Like I never imagined that I would ever be able to speak to them because in school I wasn't exactly one of the jocks. I was a very quiet kid. I was a bit mischievous, but I always got into so much trouble for doing all the rubbish that I did, all the mischief that I did, that I became very quiet and scared towards my 10th standard. And I would rather prefer the tranquility of the art room. So if I liked a girl also, I would be very quiet about it. And then I joined St. Xavier's College as a 16 and a half, 17-year-old. And I'm in a class full of 110 students, of which 106 are girls. And I'm one of the four boys. Out of these four boys, one is never in class, one is my best friend, and the other guy was just, I don't know, he was just kind of floating in and out. Like the girls thought he was a little creepy, whatever. So for me, my adolescent journey was one of learning how to speak, how to be confident, how to sort of project myself. Like I didn't have a very high opinion of myself because I wasn't exactly very good at sports or maths. So I had a lot of self-doubt, which I think is one of the things that all adolescents are plagued with even now. They're always thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, or I haven't figured it out, or I haven't made money. No one respects my opinion. No one lets me do the things I want to do. No one asks me about important things in the house. All the decisions are taken, all the decisions are already made, and then I'm informed there's some kind of consolation, like, acha, by the way, this is what we are doing. Um, so that need for credibility, ijjat, as they say, is common to all adolescents. I've gone through it too. I think adolescence is really that transition point between being a kid and being treated like a kid and being an adult and realizing, hey, whatever you do or don't do has consequences. Whatever you do or don't do has repercussions that are going to set you on a path, and that's often a path that you have no idea about because it'll come with its own challenges. It'll come with certain types of people. That path will come with certain types of schedules. So really, no one's prepared for that. So very often I have so many adolescents come to me saying, oh, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Oh, I don't know what I want to specialize in professionally. So then I always ask them, what kind of lifestyle do you envision for yourself? Are you okay working till 4 in the morning? Are you okay working weekends? Are you okay missing a lot of family time with your family because you're in the office? That because no one talks about these things. Every profession, every decision comes with a lifestyle, and every lifestyle has to be retrofitted to sort of sync beautifully with your personality, who you are, what you want. Uh, and that's kind of how you got to negotiate these things. So, of course, I'm keeping it very broad right now. I want to hear what questions you all have, what questions you have for me, Pinky. So
Especially
let's
post this
jump in.
in this current decade and post this pandemic, give your five like hacks for the younger generation when they get into self doubt. Yes, mostly they are into the self doubt that which profession and what they'll end up in and what they are choosing is just not correct. So much of confusion in their mind.
So I'll keep it very broad again. See, one thing I encourage all adolescents to do is keep your networking extremely aggressive. Like you need to connect with people who are actually practicing in professions that you see yourself getting into. So see their schedule, see the size of the houses they live in, see what cars they drive. Vicariously follow them on Facebook if it's okay with them. Talk to them on LinkedIn is the place you want to be, not Instagram if you want to connect with people professionally. Put your work out there, put your opinions out there, follow people, track them. What I used to do is I would offer to buy someone I admire coffee. You'll get turned down 9 out of 10 times. They'll say, we don't want to meet some random guy and have coffee with you. Why the hell? We don't know you that, you know. हमको बहुत काम है, we have bigger fish to fry, you're just some idiot. Some people will oblige, and say, hey, you know what, okay, you know what, what's coffee gonna do? So I think it's important to gain perspective through the knowledge and experience of others because that's the one area where you are deficient because you're not old enough, you've not worked enough. So everyone will give you that whole spiel about you not being experienced. मैंने भी बहुत सुना है. In fact, the only reason I started growing facial hair back then was because I wanted to look elder than my age. There used to be this joke at the agency. They used to say his voice is so bhari and he looks like a baby. But the moment he talks, he's like, got this really crazy voice. And I never realized it because my voice is my voice. But people would keep saying it every day I get to hear it. I got sick of it. So I wanted to be taken seriously so badly. So I did this at early stages of my career. I networked. I'd made friends in the right places, learn from their experience, get them to talk to you. People love talking about their lives. Most people do. Some people are like, no, I don't want to. It's private. So network aggressively. Second thing is, please don't expect the world to be fair to you. This world is an opportunistic and unfair place with very low attention span. People are either going to try to ring you, कपड़े को कैसे करते हैं ना, they're going to try to ring you, get something out of you. So your pound of flesh is worth a lot more for them. So don't expect the world to be fair. Don't go in expecting some kind of fairyland that because I'm good or great or hardworking or I have a lot of integrity or I want to learn, therefore everyone's going to receive me in that spirit. No, people don't give a damn. They don't have time. And as far as you are concerned, there is nuisance value attached to teaching a new person the ropes. They're like, बच्चे को हमने क्या school खोल रखा है क्या? We don't need to onboard you. Onboarding ही चल रहा है इसका because they also see you as a interference with their regular way of work, and they also expect respect via your seniors, via in the industry, etc. So it's very important to not expect fairness. So go in expecting that people are going to be sharp, snide, and extremely, acerbic with you. So go in expecting that, then you won't have some kind of romanticized version of life because that's where they get hurt the most. Once that idealism breaks, they say, shit, I'm not as special as mom told me I was. Okay. So that's my second tip. Thirdly, it's very important to not make demands on your family constantly for money, for stuff, because you see, every demand you make is going to make your family see you as someone who's a bit bratty. I keep getting clients, and their parents say, isko hamesha paisa chahiye hota hai. He's always wanting more stuff. See, I always say this to adolescents that for you as a child, you had a right to ask for a lot of things, but now you've reached an age, you can vote a government in power. You've reached that age, you're 17, 18 years old. So instead of always taking from the family, why don't you go to your mother someday and say, Mom, what can I offer? What can I do that lightens your workload? Can I learn some basic cooking? Can you at least not worry about my breakfast? I'll make 2 eggs, I'll wash my plates, and I'll get out and go to college. That way you get some rest because you're managing the meals for everyone. Or what can you offer the house? If you make a little bit of money, you give a little bit to your mom and say, Mom, I don't know what to do with the money. I don't want to end up spending it on junk food and on things I don't need. So take this little money, maybe start a small investment for me, a small SIP for me. It doesn't have to be a big amount. Um, so instead of constantly drawing from the well, कभी कभी well के अंदर water भी डालिए, because if you keep drawing from it, soon there'll be nothing left to draw. And the parents are going to see you as some kind of, brat who just keeps coming to them for more money and more, resources. And, oh, I need you to sign this little letter that lets me go on a trip. So yes, of course, as a child, you're a dependent. You haven't found your source of income yet, and that is fair. Um, but it's also important to understand your parents are human beings here. Help them out. Give them a leg up. They're also busting their ass to give you a good lifestyle. They have loans to pay. They have dragons to slay at the office. So help them out a bit, yeah. That's my third tip. My fourth tip for adolescents would be learn to be a little patient with life and with people, okay? So there's this urge to be idealistic, and I know what I'm saying. Oh my God, I want to go and stand at this protest or go to Gateway and, wave a flag. Great. That's all that activism is fantastic. I have nothing against that. But it's very important to develop this innate ability to observe people and situations. See, some days even I get irritated. I may also react, say one or two things that I later regret. I'll be like, "Arey yaar, zyada bol diya. Arey yaar, zyada gussa aa gaya." We're human. We're human. We all do that. But
Correct.
what comes with age and what I suppose has to be you got to train yourself for is this ability to just shut your mouth, and just observe the situation for what it is. Let it play out. So there shouldn't be this impulse to immediately post a status message on Facebook or tweet on Twitter or post. Some people do this thing, they'll put these so-called motivational quotes on Instagram as if to show the people who they're pissed off with what they're thinking about in an indirect manner. True friends are those who are with you through the good times and the bad. They'll put a quote up. In a way, they're trying to taunt one friend. This impulse to immediately respond and immediately have something to say and immediately put your emotions out there and broadcast it to the universe. That temptation has to be resisted. That is extremely crucial to resist because, as I said, some situations require to be studied. There's a certain amount of nuance that you need to catch on to. For example, if someone is very, very angry, instead of reacting to them because they are angry and now you're angry, try to understand why they may be angry. What do they tend to get angry at? What is the frequency of their anger? Is it really anger, or are they actually experiencing another emotion which is expressing itself as anger? Is the anger short range or long range? Are they going to now sulk for 5 days, or is it going to be a 1 hour episode? It'll blow over. You do namaskar like Varun Dhawan in Badlapur, do this. And then you go away to your room. So that's the ability to observe. As teenagers, there's so much impatience. I want everything now. I want money now. I want a boyfriend now, a girlfriend now. I want success now. I want a job now. I want my MBA now, 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 now. अरे यार ठंड रखो पुत्र हाँ थोड़ा तो वक्त दो यार. Everyone grows at different speeds. Okay?
Yeah.
Everyone grows at different speeds. Everyone grows at different speeds, and that is perfectly normal and that's perfectly all right. Okay? That's my fourth tip. The fifth tip is learn to broaden your perspectives. Okay? Now, this doesn't need to happen necessarily only through people. I think people have forgotten what it means to read books. I think people have forgotten what it means, just research a subject. Now everything's available on Google. You go on your phone, you're like, Acha, I know what this is. No, it's important to verify the information that is coming to you. For example, if someone is in your friend circle is spreading a rumor about another friend, okay, it's important for you to not just believe it. You got to know the person directly to form your own opinion, an educated opinion, a balanced opinion, an opinion based on a one-to-one relationship. So, बोलते ना कान के कच्चे मत रहिए. इरादे के पक्के रहिए कि आपको क्या चाहिए जिंदगी से और जिंदगी में और लोगों से और खुद से. Huh? Know what you stand for and know what you're looking out for. So information has to be accessed. There are reservoirs of information surrounding us. It wasn't the case when there was no internet. Pinky, you'll remember those days. Libraries were a thing. Now everything is available, but everything that is available need not necessarily be verified. So don't let bias, prejudice, delusion, hate consume your life. Keep an open mind. I keep telling another very important tip, bonus feature. My sixth point is, see, I know there's a pandemic and moving out is not recommended, but wherever possible, try to travel. Try to travel. Try to see how people live. Try to see how people, um, go about their daily lives. There's a lot to learn from the lives and the journeys of other people. Not just through Insta lives. Like I was recently in Lonavala and I went through this gaon and I saw these kids just running around without shoes, and they were just so happy, and they didn't have any toys, they didn't have a PlayStation 5, Just enjoying the fresh breeze, running around, sitting, and the parents are also waving at me. I said, joy doesn't have a price tag. Joy is a state of mind, you know. So even something as simple, it may almost sound like a cliche to some people. They'll say, "Arey, arey, gaon ke bacche khush hain," as a cliche. But when you actually see it, you realize that there is so little they have, and yet there is so much that they have. All right, they look so much more at peace. So what is it that they're doing differently? There's so much to learn. So travel, yaar, joote lagaiye aur jaiye. You don't have to even leave Maharashtra. You don't even have to leave the Konkan region yet. Go somewhere. Go with a little diary. You know, in the old days, they would take a diary and write down their journals. You know, go a little old school. You know, I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but you know, take photos, take videos. Just take your phone camera and interview people. कैसा लग रहा है आपको? यहाँ पे खाने को क्या आपको पसंद है? आपका दिन कितने बजे चालू होता है? Learn from the stories of people. There's so much you can do. You know, you don't have a mask पहन के जाओ, ऐसे sanitize करके जाओ. What's stopping you? People say, "Oh, I am so bored in life, in my day. There's nothing to do." You know, I remember I had a client once, Pinky, and he had a problem of anxiety talking to people. So I gave him a project. I called it Project Train Station. I said, in the next 1 week, you're going to go to three random stations and you're going to identify. This is pre-pandemic, of course, you know, when the trains have started again. I said, you go to a random station, go to someone who looks tired and you say, भाई साहब मुझे आपके लिए चाय खरीदनी है. हाँ आप
Awesome.
चाय पीते हो बस मुझे खरीदनी है आपके लिए और आपका 2 मिनट का टाइम चाहिए मैं कुछ बेचूंगा नहीं आपको लेकिन ऐसे ही बात करनी है तो I said that out of 10 people you ask maybe 3 will accept you have to give 3 cups of tea and you have to do this twice a week so every week 6 cups of tea right I said can you afford it is it expensive he said no it's very affordable I said okay then do it and he started doing it I said when you go to these people ask them कैसा दिन चल रहा है कहाँ से आ रहे हैं अच्छा कहाँ ऑफिस है Acha, acha. And I said, obviously, go and talk to someone of the same gender. You go to a woman, she may be a bit, who's this creepy guy? Okay. Maybe go to a senior, maybe go to someone from a lower socioeconomic strata, you know, because such people are really vying for a little bit of warmth, a little bit of kindness. So I think that's also something that I want to sometimes inject in people, you know, don't hesitate. Be nice to your servers at restaurants. Be nice to the valet parking guy. Be nice to your barber. They deserve it. They're working. All right. So what if they don't make as much money as an engineer or accountant or a lawyer or a surgeon? They're human beings. And that kindness needs to also be a part of how you treat people because if you expect it back, you might as well be someone who contributes to the ecosystem. So these are some of thoughts. I gave you 6 points, not five. So yeah. What else do you
Superb.
want to ask
Thank
me?
you so much, Aman, for that beautiful insight. Okay, tell me 5 hacks to build self-esteem.
5 hacks to build self-esteem. First hack is be shameless. बदतमीज रहिए. If you want to do something, do it. ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या होगा? आप मुंह के बल गिरोगे. You'll fall flat on your face. People will say you're a fool. You shouldn't have tried. You shouldn't have done it. Be extremely बदतमीज. You owe yourself certain risks. You got to take certain risks if you want to make it big. And sometimes taking a risk means doing a course and studying something that no one in your family knows anything about. When I joined the media industry, I took a risk because from both mom and dad side, there is no one in advertising and television promotions and creative solutions. मैं घुस गया. There was no money to be made at the start. Forget money. There was no respect also. Forget respect. There was no sleep also available. Yeah, 17-hour work days. I used to drive back and forth 3 hours, 3.5 hours it used to take me to go to office. 17 hours I used to shadow in that office. My boss never even once said thank you for working overtime. He said, तेरा काम है. तेरे को पैसा मिल रहा है काम कर. So you know how it is. So संघर्ष है life में यार. Okay. But that also builds stamina, and that stamina builds self-esteem. So there was a little bit of besharmi. I said, to hell with it. I will do it. I will push myself and I will punish myself and see how much punishment I can take, and I will come out the other side. Now,
Coming to
today,
this, Besharmi can, I mean, in adolescence, now it can lead to being sarcasm also. A lot of sarcasms adolescents carry
no,
and
no, 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 no.
rebellious. So, because,
Besharmi in
yeah,
no 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 Besharmi in relation to pursuing your dreams only there is वो जो आप बोल रहे हो वो बदतमीजी है वो बेशर्मी नहीं है
yeah,
बदतमीजी is being brazen being acerbic being a smart ass being rude being entitled being sarcastic
correct, yeah.
being yeah so बदतमीजी की कोई that's the second point okay you want to raise your self esteem It can happen only if you learn to बोलते हैं ना इंसानों को जोड़ने की क्षमता होनी चाहिए. You should be able to bring people together rather than break them apart. So the second point is don't be a smart ass. You're not the smartest person in the room. Neither are you the most experienced. Neither are you the one with the most money. इसलिए शांति से सीखिए, learn, observe. Okay. The third way to build self-esteem is to get a job. It's as simple as that because as you work, you realize how hard it is to put money on the table and you feel good as well. Even if you make a really shit salary, someone pays you what, 5,000 rupees for a month of slogging 6 days a week. Those 5,000 will be sweeter than any salary that you will ever get because that 5,000 will tell you the value of mehnat. Okay. 5,000 is a very low amount. Now they give much more to even interns. Back in my time, 5,000 bhi nahi dete the. So it's very, very important to get a job so that you can retain your focus, earn your stripes, build credibility, connect with the right people, and also demonstrate to your family that you're not just here to ask for hot parathas every morning. Mama, 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 parathe बनाए कि नहीं mama? तुम वो वाले नहीं हो. तुम जाते हो, काम करके भी आते हो. That you're a responsible individual, not one of those mama, 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 मेरे socks कहाँ हैं? Mama, you know. I'm like, भाई दाढ़ी आ गई तेरी दाढ़ी आ गई भाई मम्मा मम्मा बंद कर और कुछ करो काम धंधा हम सब कर रहे हैं आप भी करिए मजा आएगा all right.
So true.
How do you build self-esteem? Point number four is I think you can build self-esteem by connecting with other people who have self-esteem because their energy is infectious. If you hang out with people who have very high self-esteem, they're very clear, they're very communicative, they're very, very creative, very driven. Such people should be in your friend circle and you need to curate. All right, that's another C out there. I just love the alphabet C. So जैसे बोलते हैं ना जैसी संगत वैसी रंगत पुरानी कहावत है हाँ so it's important to really be careful with about who you're giving your precious hours to okay that doesn't mean don't go to parties that doesn't mean you don't have fun and do a little silly stuff here and there रात को भटकना वर्ली सी फेस पे जाना हम सब ने भी किया है बॉस हम सब ने किया है but it's very very important to curate and surround yourself with inspiration if you want to be inspired, if you want to raise your self-esteem. कितने पॉइंट हुए? तीन हुए कि चार हुए? I'm
चार
losing count. चार हो गए? चलो. The fifth way to build self-esteem is, I think, really, really stop worrying so much about self-esteem. जैसे बोलते हैं ना, the more you worry about, so if you wake up every morning, hi, how do I build self-esteem? That's not how you do it, okay? Because you see, the more you're stressed about it, now the more it will never ever be yours. So the way to build self-esteem is by not worrying about self-esteem. Worry about being competent. Worry about being consistent. कि job करते हो, you're able to replicate results. Worry about being a curator. So being very careful about what information comes, verify the information, what people come you upon invite or sometimes by accident. And I think a little bit of empathy also goes a long way. Like, if you understand the pain and the difficulties of other people, there's a strong likelihood that at least one of those many people will also want to invest in your journey and your life. And then a beautiful friendship can grow out of it. And that can also raise your self-esteem when you know कि मेरे दो तीन बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं. I don't have to have 25 friends at my birthday. दो हैं लेकिन ऐसे हैं कि साला किडनी भी दे दे मेरे को if I need one, you know. He would really do anything for me. So he or she. So yeah, these are a few ways that are occurring to me off the top of my mind. I'm sure there are more ways and there are more questions, but yeah, let's stick with this for
Absolutely.
now.
Okay, coming to this, these wavering minds of adolescents, how to stay consistent. Consistency is becoming a big issue of theirs. You
Give
know,
me an
they don't,
example. Like in what sense? How to be consistent in what?
as in even if their work, I mean, they get bored very soon. The boredom arises very soon. They need to change their patterns. Even
I
if
think
they're
it
following one class, they break the pattern and they go into another thing. No, I don't like this. No, I don't like this. So is it
first.
they're exploring or is it they're not staying consistent because of their wavering mind?
See, I don't. I wouldn't like to blame adolescents only for being bored. Bored तो हम सब होते हैं यार, Pinky. I also get
Yeah.
bored. You know, I've attended also some webinars, not just as a speaker, but also sometimes in the audience, and I'm like, पक गया यार, पक गया, बोर हो गया यार, शी रे. It happens to me also. So boredom is not something you have to avoid like it's a cancer or something. Boredom happens to everyone. So make your peace with boredom. You will be bored. A lot of things you do are not fun. Do you think the process of childbirth is fun for a woman? She's screaming and yelling and bleeding and going nuts, and the pain is crazy. And after 9 months of suffering, that last moment is absolutely it's painful. You think training for a 10K marathon is fun? Your
Oh,
feet
not at
hurt,
all.
they swell up, आपको छाले आ जाएंगे, water retention होता है पैरों में, So where does this idea come from that everything has to be fun and lacking in boredom? Of course you will be bored. You think it's interesting for people studying for their CA or trying to crack the IIT or IIM examinations. Of course, boring as hell. So make your peace with boredom. Okay, make your peace with boredom. It's not going to leave your life. Okay, like a lot of my friends who are now, having their first children, they're losing sleep. रात को उठो, diaper बदलो, सुलाओ, दूध पिलाओ, all this stuff. And it's driving them nuts. But it's a boring activity. But as a father or a mother, you got to do it, right? और कौन करेगा? आप नहीं
Correct.
करोगे तो कौन करेगा? You can't outsource it. It's your bloody child. So you got to be responsible, yeah. Grow up. So, boredom is not the problem. The attitude towards boredom is the problem. That if you say, I should never be bored, I should always be doing interesting things. I should always be from jumping from one high to the other. अरे आप सुपर मारियो हो क्या? कि आप वो मशरूम्स के ऊपर से जंप कर करके आपको सिर्फ जंप मारने हैं. कभी चलो भी, कभी रुको भी, कभी देखो भी. So you don't have to be in a rush for anything. Okay. And consistency comes if there is passion. If you like something, you'll do it well. It's very straightforward logic. It's not rocket science. If you like something, you'll do it well. Yes, sometimes to reach to a stage where you get to do the things that you like, you're going to have to go through several stages of life, of academics, where you do things you don't like. Are you telling me I enjoyed studying managerial accounting and business finance when I was doing my MBA? Of course not. My God, they're the most mundane and boring subjects, and मेरे को zero फायदा हुआ है मेरी life में उनका. But what it did, Pinky, was it built my stamina and my tolerance towards the idea that being bored is okay, being bored is normal, being bored is universal, being bored is inevitable, and therefore being bored is human. Even dogs get bored. That's why they need to be taken down for a walk. Every creature gets bored with routine, with mundaneness. So consistency has to be given. It's an attitudinal shift if you want to get the things you want, if you want to get the results you want. And if you love what you're doing, the consistency will come a lot more naturally.
So true, so true. Thank you so much. Now I'll talk about our questions. Okay, the first question is how to handle the situation if you're being blamed whether or not it is your fault.
See, you'll be blamed throughout your life for all kinds of things. Modi gets blamed, Trump gets blamed, Mahatma Gandhi, despite being dead for so many years, still gets blamed. Even Mother Teresa gets blamed. There was an article I was reading last week saying that her foundation was, embezzling money and that they were into some dubious healthcare practices. So the price of greatness is that you will be blamed and you will be misunderstood and your vision will not be shared. All right. Steve Jobs was blamed. He was kicked out of his own company. I keep saying this in all my talks. Nelson Mandela was blamed. I've even gone to Robben Island in South Africa where he was imprisoned. I saw his jail cell. I said, my goodness, one of the greatest men of this century has living in such small and such deplorable conditions. जहाँ से आपको सूरज की किरणें भी नहीं ठीक से आती. So you will be blamed, you will be misunderstood, you will be forgotten. Credit may be stolen from you, but that doesn't mean you lose focus. That doesn't mean you lose vigor and passion and tenacity. Remember that point where I said बदतमीज होना है. Sorry, not बदतमीज. What was the word? Pinky?
No,
बेशरम.
it was not
बेहया,
Badtami,
बेशरम.
but Besharam, Besharam.
बेशरम होना है, बदतमीज नहीं होना है. See, मैं भी गलतियां करता हूँ. Haha. So, बदतमीजी नहीं, बेशर्म, which means be extremely gregarious, be a go-getter. Don't be afraid. Don't self-censor yourself. Badtamizi means you're being rude, you're being a troll, you're being mean-spirited, you're being judgmental, you're making all kinds of, you're making all kinds of unfair judgments of people. You're giving them labels. You're a fool. You're an idiot. To where side? Don't be that way. Okay,
True,
don't be
true.
that way. So yeah,
Okay. How do you completely stop judging people?
you never do. You just stop talking about it. I think all of us are guilty of having judged someone or the other in their life. Okay, all of us. I think innately a human tendency because we want to make summarized judgments and opinions of people without having to do too much of heavy lifting. So if someone is very loud, you'll say he's a loud person. If someone says, "Arey, arey, bill lao," let me calculate each and everything. You say, "Sala कंजूस, एक चीज इसको अभी 10 मिनट इसका ये calculator निकाल के बैठेगा." So we are all so quick to jump to conclusions because we don't want to invest the time to get to know someone. So you never stop being judgmental. So if you want to be judgmental in your mind, but don't talk about it because you may hurt someone's feelings and you may sever the relationship. At the same time, understand that you are being judgmental, be fully cognizant of the fact that you're being judgmental, and try your best to see the world from the other person's perspective. What is their pain? What are their challenges? What have they not understood that is causing them all this misery? What have they missed out on? Where has their journey been stalled, or where has their journey been sabotaged by their own family, by their partners, by their academics, by their health? Sabotage होता है ना आपकी लाइफ में, हाँ, छेद पड़ जाते हैं नहीं छतरी में, फिर पानी लीक होता है क्योंकि बारिश तो गिरनी ही है भाई, आप पे हम पे पानी तो गिरना ही है, कभी ना कभी तो आफत आ जाती है and you can't escape it. So it's really about being accepting of these things rather than trying to always be combative. हर चीज के लिए झगड़े की जरूरत नहीं होती. कभी कभी just observe and let it pass, let it transition through.
Okay. Next question. What, according to you, are some essential actions that adolescents or young adults should start doing independently?
Start cooking your own damn meals. I'm bloody serious. This is a huge issue. Very few teenagers will cook their own meals. I'm like, I'm not asking you to make a biryani or a nalli nihari, a freaking tandoori chicken for yourself every night. I'm asking you to make a simple scrambled egg, a simple omelette, masala omelette, okay, for yourself. Start cooking your own meals, please, and start earning your own money after you've touched 18. Even if it's a small amount of money, even if it means that you're doing a business sitting at home, whether you're buying something from one place and then selling it for profit, flipping. There was this guy I knew who was like importing sneakers from certain places in China and he was selling them at profit. Certain types of sneakers, so people have sneaker collections, very, very niche brands that you don't get jo hote hain. And some sneakers are very, very expensive and premium quality sneakers. Hote hain na kuch log. I have a friend who, does action figures ka reselling, adult collectibles. नहीं होते. So he buys from one source and then he sells elsewhere. So figure out how to make money, figure out how to cook your own meals. Ask your parents, how can I help? Is there a check you want me to deposit in the bank? Do you need me to accompany dad to the office, drive someone somewhere? Like I remember my dad used to, he wanted me to get better at driving because when I started learning how to drive, I was terrified. People who know I've been driving for many years now. I drive a MG Hector SUV, so now it's a big car. But when I started on his my dad's old Zen, golden color Zen. So मेरे ऐसे, I used to drive like this. I used to shiver. I used to be scared. I used to be like, मैं ठोक दूंगा, ठोक दूंगा. I used to have literally anxiety while driving. So what my dad would do was he would send me on these little chote chote missions. He'd say his mother, my dadi ji, my grandmother, who I was very close to, is no more, rest in peace. Uh, he would say, okay, take her to the parlor where my aunt used to run a parlor, or take her for a drive to Marine Drive because she needs to get out and she's old and she can't drive and I because I'm with grandmother, he knew I won't do any tashan. I'll drive slowly. I'll be good. And that's how my driving improved with my grandmother sitting next to me. She would talk to me. I would talk to her. Sometimes we'd go to this farsan shop and get samosas. She used to love to eat those samosas. Every time I drive past that Dave Farsan at Babul Nath, I think about my grandmother because that was her favorite place. So, you gotta start somewhere. That's what the moral of the story is. You gotta be of use to the family. Instead of only expecting the family to, keep giving you handouts and freebies. Uh, that's my opinion.
Okay. What to do if you come off as a cold person to others, but in actuality you are just too awkward or shy to talk or make a conversation?
See, no one's personality changes overnight, Pinky. I think a good start, if you want to become a good conversationalist, is to start by asking questions about the weather or ask for recommendations. Hey, what's a Netflix पे आज अच्छा क्या है? Or what's something? I want to open a new bank account. कौन सा अच्छा बैंक है? Ask someone for their opinion if you're awkward to talk and have a long conversation, because that's usually a very safe way to enter a conversational space. Or either ask for their opinion or give them a compliment. Say, I really like this shirt here. I've been looking to buy some shirts, something like this only. Maybe different color, but I really like this. Looking good on you. कहाँ से लिया यार? I won't ask you the price because I'm not that cheap, but मुझे अच्छा मतलब बोलो ना यार थोड़ा. So again, what did you do? You asked for an opinion, and people are usually very very open if you ask for an opinion, or so that awkwardness or coldness, oh my god, that all, what are they going to think, what are they going to think? See, if you don't speak, they will think you are awkward. If you speak, they may think you are too nosy or too intrusive. अरे इसका मुंह बंद नहीं होता. So whatever you do, they're going to think something, so you can't escape the fact that they're going to assess you in some way or the other. So you might as well do what you're going to do anyway, because they are going to uh, paste a label on you, an invisible label on you, and every time you come, they are going to see you first as that label and then as an individual. You're the loudmouth, you're the show off, you're the idiot who couldn't do well in the exams. These are all the labels people will put on you. And forget bahar ke log, aapke ghar mein aap pe labels nahi lade gaye hain. Sometimes your own parents put labels on you, sometimes your own friends put label on you, sometimes your husband or wife puts labels on you.
Okay, there's a question come up. How to deal with vengeful person fired from the company for incompetence and now poaching people constantly to damage the company? Person is
Well,
in
you can't.
HR.
You can't really do much about that, no? No, this is not an adolescent query. This has now gone into my corporate coaching domain, but
Yeah.
it's a very, very good question. That's fine. We'll answer it. See, if someone is poaching people, there's nothing you can do, because people are going to move on if they see value in the new company or if their money increases. Let's not kid ourselves. Bombay is a very expensive city to live in, okay? Especially if you want to live in a nice neighborhood with a decent sized house. But if you want all the other bells and whistles, you want like a swimming pool below your house and all, that costs money. And money doesn't grow on trees, as my English teacher used to say. So if a person is vengeful, well, if you have to look at you have to see if they're breaching any part of their contract, because sometimes you have their employment contract may stipulate that they cannot poach people from the company, or they cannot use company resources to conduct their own search activities, to create a sort of cartel of their own people. So you have to go through the legal route, or if there is no legal route, you got to just accept it for what it is. And if people are in fact leaving the company, then maybe it's less to do with that person's vengeance that is causing them to poach people, or maybe the company isn't exactly the hottest place in town to have a job at. Maybe the company is bumbling and stumbling its way through business here. Maybe the company is not offering growth potential for its employees. Maybe the company has become a toxic hotbed of sorts, where everyone's just constantly trying to cut each other and undercut each other's opinions. So really, sometimes a toxic company culture is more to blame than a vengeful individual trying to use his HR experience to gather and assemble the damn Avengers. All right. So it's unfortunate. I'm not saying it's a very happy thing, but don't forget, a company is nothing but a group of individuals. Even the logo of a company is designed by some guy. Some freelancer has made that logo. So the movie Rocket Singh has a beautiful dialogue. Business क्या है sir? Business लोग हैं. और जब तक आप लोगों को नहीं समझोगे, आप business नहीं समझोगे. So why is that person disgruntled in the first place? What caused them to be disgruntled? Is it a person? Is it the company itself? We have to understand why they are upset and what is causing this badle ki bhav or vengeance. All right.
Okay, how to
So
genuinely make friends? What to do if you're too bad at maintaining relationships?
why are you bad at maintaining relationships is the first question. What are you doing that is contaminating the friendships? Are you extremely rude to your friends? Do you not meet their friends? Are you judgmental towards your friends? Are your friends taking more of an initiative to stay in your life rather than you, being some proactive sometimes? Why are you considered as a not so ideal friend? That needs to be investigated. I think a good friendship is earmarked by being very, very generous, being very honest. And अगर आपको आपकी दोस्त की खुशी दिख रही है और आपको उसकी खुशी में खुशी मिलती है, फिर आप सच्चे दोस्त हो. Then there's no room for jealousy and pettiness and threats. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. I think as a friend, you are kind of like, you're kind of like cheering for your friend. You're there for them when they're vulnerable. You're there for them when they are, losing sight of what they want. So it's extremely important to be a good friend if you want good friends in your life as well. And surely there's no guarantee that you will only meet people who you like. But the fact of the matter is that you got to be someone likable, and then you will attract like-minded individuals as well. And as I said earlier during our talk, this is a curation process. Okay. Some people will come for a short while, they will leave after a short while. Some people will stay friends with you for decades and decades and decades. Some people will be friends with you only because they can get something out of you, because you are good for their image, or because your picture on their timeline adds glamour or makes their timeline look a lot more, or their Insta feed look a lot more socially indexed, or आप उनके social currency हो. So there are so many other reasons. People showing up for parties only because they want to meet someone who they know is going to show up at that party, and that person is someone very, very popular and has a lot of followers. कि शायद उनके 4 follower मेरे को आ जाए. This is the kind of stuff I hear, यार, when I'm in a session with clients. It's a multifaceted situation, really.
Okay, the next question is coming from a parent. How to tackle adolescents who are crazy for games like PUBG? What steps should parents take to handle?
I think some kind of rationing is important here. Now, I'm myself quite an avid gamer. I own 2 vintage video game consoles, a Sega Mega Drive and a NES Classic. And I also own a PlayStation 4 original version. And I was, in fact, before this talk, I was playing Borderlands, which is a shooting game, because I love to have fun on my projector and play video games. Projector's right above me. You see that wire hanging. So I'm the worst person to ask about gaming because I am a bit of a gamer. But what I do is I don't game all day. I have my clients, I have my reading time, I make time for important people, but I designate a certain time, not on a daily basis, but maybe I'd say thrice a week I will game. So you have to ration that time, because PUBG is known to be quite addictive. I think PUBG has been banned in India, so maybe you're messing up the game name. Is it Fortnite or what is it they're playing? See, I don't play online games. I play story mode games where I'm the protagonist and I'm living through a story. So it's like a enhanced cinematic experience where you're playing a character and you are partaking in a journey and you're shooting guns and zombies are dying, whatever. All right. So that's how I like to play. But I know online games have addictive potential. I think it's important to ration their time, or say that, all right, you're going to be allowed to play at this time, uh, and we won't interfere, but there are other things you need to help out with. I think it's very important for parents to develop this quid pro quo relationship with their child, saying that, our kindness, our support to you is unconditional. But having said that, we also need your help to be able to run this house. We also need your help to, ensure that there is no angst in the house. And, we do get worried when you don't take your academics seriously, because then we don't want you to become a financial liability on anyone. You may be a financial liability on us, okay, where your parents will pay for you. But then when we are dead, and we will die before you, because that's the circle of life, who's going to take care of you? So we want you to be independent. We want you to be strong. We want you to have enough money in the bank when health problems begin when you grow old. So, help me, help you, kind of, like Tom Cruise says, right? In Jerry Maguire, help me, help you. All right. So that's how it's got to be with parents. So I think if you change the tone in which you speak to teenagers, stop being so patronizing and pedantic and stop doing this. You are not taking life seriously. You will suffer. You are horrible. Yeah, they're human beings. Of course, anyone, just because they're younger doesn't mean they don't have a need to be respected. So talk to them like a friend. Say, hey, man, let's have a conversation, and I'm trying to help you here and I need your help as well. Let's help each other. We're living together. I'm your parent. You're my kid. We love each other. Let's not be unpleasant. Let's keep this extremely, mutually beneficial. I get something, you get something. We all go back to our rooms happy and not worried and, irritated. So that's how you go to ego. Again, parents go ego hota. I'm the parent. How could he not listen? He's a fool. He doesn't know. Then you go with that attitude, then the kids are going to be like, you're an old fart and I don't need to listen to your pain in the ass. Dharti ke boj. Then you see what happens. Then that relationship becomes strained.
So true. Okay, next is how can we encourage people to feel good about themselves or their achievements? Again, this is coming from a parent.
Well, it's a hard one. You need to first understand why they are not feeling good about their achievements? Why are they undercutting themselves? Like, is there a history of, being belittled in school? This used to happen with me, in fact. When I was in school, I was not very popular with my sports teacher and my maths teacher. So they used to make sometimes sarcastic comments at me, saying I'm lazy or I'm a bad team player or that I talk too much or, I have one teacher used to say he's a wild kid. He doesn't have any structure. He's too wild. And who knew that wildness will make me a ton of credit and money in the advertising and TV promotions industry? I never knew it that back then, but so I carried that inferiority in my mind. I used to say, why are my teachers not being nice to me? Am I really so bad? But I just want to have a little bit of fun. Okay, I don't understand algebra and trigonometry, but does that make me a bad person? I don't get it. It's difficult for me to understand. I can't keep up. Is that really so bad? So yes, sometimes those things will haunt you for many years because I wasn't exactly at the top of my class. Neither was I at the bottom. In my 10th, I did extremely well, but I was more a humanities person. I was good at languages, with civics, history, etc. So I was very good at I liked cause and effect very much. So I couldn't understand abstract concepts. So I couldn't get physics, but I could understand biology better, etc. So I, for many years, also struggled feeling good about myself. I told you about how my college years were. There was definitely an adjustment period, especially when you go on from living in a boarding school with not more than 200 people to coming to the city of Mumbai. I had never met Christians in my life, and I was in Xavier's College. So many things, cultural nuances that I became privy to. It opened my horizons. I found confidence. I learned how to speak up. I learned how to be clear. And of course, all those books I read as a child helped me also be able to be reasonably articulate about what I feel, which is why I'm a teacher now and I'm a trainer and I'm here with you to share. I don't prepare for any of my talks, guys. I just speak freely. Sometimes I can go on tangents. You'd be like, ये गोर घुमा फिरा के बात करता है यार तो हम घूम फिर के ही जाएंगे लंबा रास्ता जाएंगे यार उसमें क्या है so एंड डेस्टिनेशन सेम है पिंकी हम सब मरने वाले हैं कभी ना कभी तो घूम फिर के
So
जाएं कि सीधा सीधा जाएं मौत तो आनी है बॉस तो थोड़ा मजे लो थोड़ा सोचो थोड़ा देखो और थोड़ा करो that's how I feel.
okay, now what's the balance between telling the kids the truth of their performance in comparison to a friend and lying to build their self-esteem and confidence?
Don't compare them to anyone, yeah. Just help them optimize their potential. Why do you want to compare them? Your friend got 98, you got 68. Why? Your friend might be better at mugging stuff up. He may be better at dance or art or music. Why do we have to make these comparisons? I don't understand. As parents, it's your job to help your child find his innate abilities and to really chisel them. इसको एक sharp arrow की तरह बनाओ कि कोई भी arrow फेंके तो it goes and hits the bullseye. So whether your son wants to be a ballet dancer, which is an unconventional uh, career choice for a young boy, or whether he wants to be an accountant, you have to figure out as a parent what he's good at and encourage him to grow, encourage him to go in the desired direction. क्योंकि अगर उसको मजा आ रहा है ना, वो दिल लगा के करेगा या करेगी, and then, yeah, of course, that uncertainty is going to exist at early stages of all professions, whether you're a lawyer or whether you're an accountant or whether you're an engineer. India loves its engineers and IT professionals. भरे पड़े हैं Singapore में, where I spent 7 years. भरे पड़े हैं USA में. India loves that. But then, what are you creating? See, in economics, we have this concept called, where we understood demand and supply. So if you create a surplus of engineers, the price per engineer is going to go down. So this so-called golden ticket of the engineer who makes money and upgrades the parents from a small apartment to a big bungalow, you are kind of working against it because if he never wanted to be an engineer and actually he was good at photography and maybe he would have become a world famous photographer, you deprived him of his destiny, yaar, due to your small thinking and lack of experience and insecurities and controlling nature as a parent. So, what is your job as a parent? To enhance the abilities of your child, to support them, to show some faith in them, especially when no one else is showing faith in them. Even if they don't show faith in their abilities, you can see, you have your senses working as a parent. So help them, yaar. Help them
Absolutely.
create a loving and create a supportive environment that benefits their talents and gives them the perfect opportunity to align with what they're great at.
Now, this question has come up, which is really nice. We want to support our son who is crazy about jujutsu and is training to be a pro. But in the bargain, he has his 12th boards coming up and he's ignoring his studies.
I think it's about schedule management, isn't it? I mean, jujitsu is going to be a focus, and that should be. It's great for his fitness as well. You know, he'll live longer because he's healthy. Um, uh, the schedule needs to be negotiated mutually. So you can't just, cannot just be either or. As I said, even with gaming, you got a game. If you want a game, you got a game. But you cannot just be gaming all day and ignoring other activities that help you earn money to pay bills, etc., etc. तो आपको एक बैलेंस क्रिएट करना है सो यस यू मस्ट सपोर्ट हिज jujitsu but you have to also convince him through your ability as a parent that this is a very crucial year and if, once you clear your 12th it's going to open up certain opportunities for you to get into a university which will further help cement your position as a professional or a specialist. So you can get hired, make money, pay bills, which is what all adults do essentially. What are we doing? We're paying bills, bills after bills, raising bills, mounting bills. That's what being an adult is. I was asked this a long time ago. What is adulthood all about? I said the simple answer is it's about paying bills and
So,
taking care of your health. That's the two major pursuits, and maybe
yeah,
building some credibility in the market or industry of your choice.
that's so true. Okay, one last, I think our time is up. What will be your message to our adolescents?
It's important for you to have fun. So anyone who tells you that you shouldn't be having fun is lying to you, okay? This is the age when your body will be at its healthiest. You can have 15 rotis and not put on even 1 kilo. You can go for 4, 5 nights without sleep, and you can still be up in the morning, charged like a rhinoceros, ready to charge into stuff. So please have fun, enjoy your youth. And another important thing is don't worry so much about what people think about you. You got to follow your heart, but at the same time, don't let that make you arrogant or lazy, okay? Because if you're lazy, if you're arrogant, if you are complacent, or if you're unhelpful, you're going to lose people. And as you grow older, there's this dialogue from Al Pacino's movie called Any Given Sunday. He said, when you grow older, shit gets taken away from you. That's just the way it is and you just lose friends, you lose time, you lose health. That's just how growing older is. So while you're young, really milk this time in your life to make some interesting connections, to learn, to travel, to explore. And don't get afraid of the nasty stuff that is told to you, okay? Because nasty stuff will be told to you even when you're an old person. Maybe a child sometimes shouts at the father, चुप रहिए आप आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता फालतू का आपका नाटक चलता रहता nasty तो वो भी है old man बेचारा his son is shouting at him we have cases also like that sometimes whether you're a young bride, your mother-in-law may shout at you saying, "This is a stupid girl. You don't know how to even cook rotis. I don't know what my son saw in you just because you're bloody fair." Son, मेरे लड़के की भी मतलब किस्मत खराब है कि he got a girl who can't cook for him. क्या खाएगा मेरा बेटा? Anyone can say these things. हिंदी movie है भाई. Pinky's like, ये तो मैंने देखा है. Pinky, calm down, all right, calm down right now. I don't know what has excited you so much about that comment, but I hear these things in therapy, all right. So गालियां आपको सुननी है जिंदगी भर, तो गालियों से अफेक्ट ना होइए, हाँ, संकोच में मत पड़िए, सुनिए, यहाँ से आने दीजिए, यहाँ से निकलने दीजिए. That is life.
That's so true. That's so true. But the adolescents yet get affected. Yeah,
It's
we
okay,
as
यार.
we
You'll
can
get
say
better at
that.
it. प्रैक्टिस के साथ जैसे आपको मैं अगर बोलूं कि पुशअप्स करिए हमको 100 पुशअप्स करके वो मसल नहीं मैं नहीं कर पाऊं बिकॉज आई डोंट डू 100 पुशअप्स यार बट इफ आई स्टार्ट डूइंग 10 15 एंड आई विद इन 3 months I'll be able to do 100 push-ups non-stop एकदम रॉकी की तरह रॉकी में करता भी है कि नहीं पता नहीं so the idea is anything that you're good at anything that people say you're good at requires a little bit of practice a little bit of patience and you got to have fun while doing it man. It's important. My friend Samuel has joined. Samuel, I love you, man. How are you, buddy? I don't know if he's still watching.
Thanks
Sa
a ton,
come.
Aman, for this lovely, amazing session. It was fabulous. I think we answered all our questions. I should say that was amazing.
I tried my
Thanks a
best,
ton.
okay? You guys who are
Aman,
not
one
following me on
last
Instagram,
question and
follow
make
me on
it quick.
Instagram. Ask me your questions. Keep them coming whenever I'll reply when I can.
One last question and make it quick. How do you untangle your thoughts?
How do I untangle my thoughts? By not having too many thoughts. I'm serious, man. Why do I mean people think that just because I'm a psychotherapist and I'm a counselor that I'm constantly analyzing people and situations. But sometimes I just let people be people, I'm like, all right, someone is angry. I don't have to get into the analysis of why are they angry, how long are they. ठीक है, गुस्सा है, I'm out of here because I don't want to deal with this, or I'm not. I may get angry as well. So it's very important sometimes not have thoughts as well. All right, just live in the moment, enjoy the little things. One thing I believe in is I untangle my thoughts by enjoying the little things. Small things. If I cook like an omelet, I enjoy making it. I'm like, this is the best damn omelet on planet Earth, and I'm going to make it yummy as hell. So be invested in the moment. You can't change the past. You can't control the future because you don't know when you're going to die. Technically, if you can't control the future, it means you'll be able to delay your death all the way, right? But no one knows that. So focus on what is in your hands. What are the resources you can play with? And live your life with a little bit of agility, dignity, and मस्ती करो यार. बाकी क्या है? कितना
Thank you
सोचोगे?
much. Thank you so much, Aman. We are done with the session. Thanks, are done. I need to put it on the
इतना मत
iPad.
सोचो इसके. मैं भी सोच के आया था आज पिंक शर्ट पहनूंगा because ऐसे पिंकी के सामने पिंक
Okay.
पिंक बन के बैठूंगा यार.
Now I need to call you for biryani at my place.
I'm on a keto diet यार. इतना पतला हो गया. Can't you see my nice V neck V face हो गया है मेरा यार पिंकी. बिरयानी निहारी सब खाएंगे once I lose a little more weight, all right?
Okay,
But yes,
sure. Your fish. Surmai, surmai. Chalo, bye.
bombil bombil.
Okay, Bombay. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, see you.
Bye, see you. Bye.